It's hard for us to relate to each other. We've had different journeys. You started at my age. I've done 70 shows.
I started at 17.
I've done 70 shows. I've not had a helping hand. It is a different journey, and so we're obviously going to be different people when we get to this point.
Yeah, but one thing you do very well, you are the best victim player in the history of sport.
I'm not a victim.
You are.
I'm a winner. Look at me.
Well, that's what we like, Ben.
No, sure.
Go on.
Move him out of the way. Move him out of the way. Listen. Come on, son. Come on, son. Move him out of the way. Move him out of the way.
What are you
grabbing me?
What is grabbing me? Can I hit you over the head with an egg? And I was like,
where's the quest?
I was like,
yeah, because listen, I've been pushed twice now. I'm assaulted. I want to hit me over the head.
I'll pay you to hit you over the head with an egg.
Is that true?
Yes. Again, it's good banter. He doesn't understand banter.
What do you like about Eddie Hearn? He's just told you what he thinks of you. What do you think of Eddie?
I'll give you a lot of time.
Listen, it's hard.
I pick up your calls.
It's hard to. Eddie's just emotional. As he said, he's up and down. He's passionate. I think he's a bit one-dimensional at times, right? I do. But
do you think if I was one-dimensional, I would take the sport global and turn a company into $1 billion?
Come on.
No, but that's serious. If I was one-dimensional, I think that's a bit.
James Hearn for the untouchable True School Sports. Let's go, baby. Bow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so we're drawing nearer and nearer to one of the biggest fights in boxing this year, and I know I'm not joking. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn is one of the biggest fights in boxing this year, just because of like the history with their dads, and now you've had. In recent times, you've had Eubank Jr. He literally took an egg. He took an egg out of his jacket and smacked Conor Benn with an egg. And that caused a bunch of chaos and mayhem at their most recent press conference. So credit to them. They both done a great job promoting the fight. The fight was already big in the UK, but I think with the recent, smacking him across the face with an egg, I think they've gotten a couple of the a little bit more of the American audience to care about this British domestic dust-up. So as far as this fight's concerned, I was really just evaluating a couple things when it came to Eubank and Benn because, I'm a boxing purist, so I tend to look at things from a boxing purist lens most of the time. But it's funny because Eubank is 35 or something like that in his mid-30s. He's gonna retire from boxing at any moment now. But I also think, guys, another possibility to consider, and this is my honest assessment when I look at everything and I just take into account what's going on. This fight could actually accelerate the end of Chris Eubank Jr. or Conor Benn, I should say. I think it could accelerate the end of Conor Benn, which is crazy to say because Conor Benn, he's still in his 20s. He's still, alive and kicking. He's still, a guy that's you don't think of as someone that's retiring. But I think retirement is in play for both these guys because the reality is this. Conor Benn has not fought twice in his career since 2021, right? So he hasn't been an active fighter, which I think is very, very alarming for someone his age. The second thing is this. I think, I know he hasn't fought at welterweight since he fought Chris Van Heerden in 2022. And so why is this important? It's important because Conor Benn, I don't think at least, can win a world title at 154. And I think deep down he probably knows he can't win a world title at 154, right? So that being said, he can't beat anybody remotely elite at 154. I know that. He knows that. Matthew knows that. That's why they're doing this fight. They're trying to cash him out before he loses to somebody for a lot less money and a lot less commercial value, right? So the scenario I played out in my head is this. If Eubank whoops Conor Benn, like I think he can, I think it'll be the end for both of them. Because I think Conor Benn at that point, he will have made enough money to be content in this game. Even though I know he came from money, fighting, it's never going to get bigger for him than fighting for your dad's legacy. I'm sorry. Like, no world title will be bigger than this fight for him. And there's a lot of smoke up there at 154 that I don't think he's willing to take, right? Honestly, just my opinion. So I think whether it's one fight or two fights or three fights, if Eubank goes in there and breaks up and beats up Conor Benn, I think they're both retiring. So there's some food for thought there. On the other hand, the other part of this video I wanted to talk about was Eddie Hearn. Because in the build-up to this fight, Eddie Hearn has looked very bothered. He's looked very agitated, and he's looked very disturbed by Ben Shalom and the ascension of Ben Shalom and his presence in boxing. It's because you got to understand, when Hearn got into boxing, you know, there was Frank Warren, there was Mick Hennessy, and then there was Matchroom Boxing, right? And then for a long time now, it's just been Eddie Hearn at the top and Frank Warren, you know, trading for that #1 spot in the UK for promoters. But now you've had Ben Shalom over the last couple of years, who's made some waves in boxing with the boxer promotion. You know, he's weaseled his way into the Turkey Al Sheikh sphere with Saudi and whatnot and those kind of things, and he's came through the back door in that regard. So Eddie is bothered. I'm seeing Eddie Hearn agitated. I'm seeing him kind of act in ways that I'm not accustomed to him acting. He's kind of played the role of a he tried to bully Ben Shalom. And I think when I look at the build-up to this fight, I think Eddie Hearn needs Conor Benn to win this fight in the worst way possible, because things just ain't going well for him. His fighters keep losing. You know, Turkey has tossed him and everybody else that was working with him for Riyadh season to the curve with the new announcement of Dana White and TKO Boxing League. He's probably not going to have a say in that, and he kind of knows that, so he's talking differently about Turkey these days. It's just real crazy what's going on with Eddie Hearn, you know, because Eddie Hearn, like, I remember when I covered the Richardson Hitchens fight when he fought Gustavo Lemos last year. I just remember seeing Eddie Hearn ringside looking very disinterested and just kind of distraught that he had been reduced to this in America, that he was promoting Hitchens versus Lemos at the Fountain Blue, which isn't even like in the nicest part of Vegas. And, you know, he didn't really ultimately get what he wanted fully out of his American boxing venture, right? And now you've had Frank Warren kind of pass him as far as having influence in the sport of boxing and being the top promoter in the UK. And Ben Shalom is closing the gap, and he knows that. And that's why I feel like if you look at Eddie Hearn a lot of time in these press conferences, he's been very unhinged. He's been very just on Eddie Hearn-like. It's when he's been around Ben Shalom, I'm not seeing that brash, ultra confident, you know, humorous guy that I'm used to seeing. I'm seeing somebody that's uneasy about the situation. So I think this Conor Benn fight with Eubank, it's not just about Conor Benn and Eubank and legacy. I also think it's like it could signal, you know, Ben Shalom really fully closing the gap on Eddie Hearn and definitely going ahead and maybe passing him as the second top promoter in the UK, right behind Frank Warren. So it's an important fight for so many reasons. But those are just some updated thoughts on Ben Eubank. You know, I don't think retiring is out of the. I know retirement is probably going to happen for Eubank after this fight, win, lose, or draw. He's going to get paid a boatload of money, and he's, you know, in his mid to late. He's in his mid-30s. He don't need to box no more, right? But I also think that Conor Benn could retire too if Eubank goes in there and does a job on him. So we'll see how it goes. But you guys can leave your thoughts down below. You can take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here. Keep watching my boy BT put on the best interviews out here.